On my first Mother's Day, my husband forgot. When I asked if his family had said anything, he said, "They don't see you as a real mom yet." That afternoon, his mother dropped off flowers for herself and said, "Maybe next year." So I took my baby, packed a bag, and went to a hotel. I left a note that read, "When you learn what a real mom looks like, you'll know where to find us." My name is Tessa. I'm 32. I live in Louisville, Kentucky. I've been married to Ray for 5 years, and we've been together for almost 8. We had our first child, Ivy, 7 months ago. She wasn't planned, but she wasn't a mistake either. I loved her before she was even born. Ray is complicated. He's not abusive. He's not evil. But he's selfish. He was raised by a mom who still thinks women should make plates for men before sitting down to eat themselves. She still says things like, "Boys will be boys," when Ray acts like a child, and "You should be grateful he works so hard," if I mention I'm tired. Ray has 2 sisters who adore their mom and follow her lead in everything. I was never part of that world. I wasn't raised to kiss ass, and I guess that rubbed them the wrong way. Before Ivy was born, I tried. God, did I try. I brought pies to Sunday dinners. I helped clean up. I laughed at Barb's passive-aggressive jabs like they were harmless jokes. But once I got pregnant, I thought maybe it would get better. Maybe being the mother of Barb's grandchild would make me one of them. Ivy was born last October. The pregnancy was rough. I had gestational diabetes, was on bed rest for a month, and almost needed a C-section. Ray was there physically, but emotionally, checked out. Always on his phone, always tired. He didn't change a single diaper the first 2 weeks. He said he was afraid he'd do it wrong. Still, I hoped things would get better. I thought maybe Mother's Day would be a turning point. That morning, I woke up early. Ivy was up at 5:30, so I fed her and rocked her back to sleep. I went downstairs to see if Ray had done anything, flowers, a card, even just made coffee. Nothing. He was on the couch, watching some pre-game show. I stood there, waiting. He looked up at me and said, "Morning." That's it. So I said, "Did your mom say anything about today?" He looked confused. "About what?" I said, "Mother's Day." He shrugged. "I mean, yeah, she's coming over later. I think she wants to drop off something." I said, "No, I meant did she say anything about me? It's my first Mother's Day." And that's when he said it. Word for word. "They don't really see you as a real mom yet. You know, it's only been a few months." I laughed at first. I thought he was joking. He wasn't. I said, "Are you serious right now?" He looked at me like I was the one being dramatic. "I mean, come on, Tess. You've only been a mom for a few months. My mom's been a mom for decades. You've got time." I walked out of the room. I didn't cry right then. I went upstairs, sat in Ivy's room, and held her while she slept. I kissed her little head and whispered, "You're the only reason I'm still here." At 1:05 p.m., the doorbell rang. I stayed upstairs. I didn't want to see her. But I heard Ray's voice, loud, cheerful, and then Barb's laugh. I could hear the plastic wrap on flowers and her heels on the tile. She said, loud enough for me to hear, "Happy Mother's Day to me. Did you get me a card this year, Ray?" Then, after a beat, she added, "Maybe next year," with a fake laugh. Ray didn't correct her.
Didn't defend me. Didn't even mention me.
That was it. I went into my room. I grabbed Ivy's diaper bag and started packing. I put in clothes, wipes, bottles, formula. I packed my own bag, quick and quiet. I had a little cash saved from doing some freelance editing work. I booked a room at a Holiday Inn Express 15 minutes away. Clean, safe, quiet. Before I walked out, I grabbed a takeout menu from the kitchen counter and wrote on the back, "When you learn what a real mom looks like, you'll know where to find us." I left it next to his keys. I didn't slam the door. I didn't say goodbye. I drove away with my daughter in the back seat, humming to herself, not knowing that her mom had just decided she was worth more than being ignored. The hotel room was clean, quiet, and freezing. I turned the heat up and laid Ivy on the bed, surrounded by pillows. She kicked her feet and giggled like we were on vacation. I wanted to smile back, but I couldn't. My hands were still shaking. I turned my phone off. For the first few hours, I just sat there. I watched TV on mute. I held Ivy and stared at the wall. I kept thinking, am I really doing this? Did I actually walk out? I wasn't angry. I was numb. It's like my body went into survival mode and dragged my heart with it. Around 5 p.m., I turned my phone on. 20 missed calls. 8 from Ray.
2 from Barb.
1 from his sister, Colleen. The rest, unknown numbers, probably his other family members. I didn't check the voicemails. At 6:12, Ray texted. Where are you? Are you seriously doing this over one day? This is crazy, Tess. Come home. Let's talk. You're being emotional. That's not fair to Ivy. That last one lit a fire in my chest. Emotional. Like everything I felt was just hormones and dramatics. I didn't respond. At 7:44, he texted again. My mom feels horrible, by the way. She didn't mean anything by it. She wants to bring over a card tomorrow. Don't punish me and my family over a misunderstanding. A card. The day after. And calling it a misunderstanding. Like it was a small accident, like she didn't look me in the eye and say what she said, like he didn't sit there and let it happen. Still, I didn't respond. Around 9:30, my mom called. I hadn't told her anything yet. She lives 2 hours away in Owensboro. She picked up on the first ring. Hey, baby. Happy Mother's Day. That broke me. I cried so hard I could barely get words out. She didn't ask for the whole story. She just said, pack up the baby and come home, honey. We'll figure the rest out later. The next morning, I was getting Ivy ready when Ray showed up. He knocked.
Didn't shout.
Didn't threaten. Just knocked. I opened the door an inch and said, You have 2 minutes. He looked like he hadn't slept. Tess, come on. This is ridiculous.
I didn't mean what I said like that.
It came out wrong. I just looked at him. He added, I was caught off guard. You put me on the spot. You were waiting for me to fail. I said, Do you even hear yourself? I came here to fix this. No, I said. You came here because you're embarrassed I left. That hit him. He stood there for a second, then said something I won't forget. You made a scene over something stupid. My whole family thinks you lost it. I closed the door in his face. The rest of the week, I stayed at the hotel. He didn't call again, but Colleen did. She left a voicemail that said, You need to stop being selfish. You're hurting Ray. This isn't what moms do. Real moms put their families first. I saved that one. I saved all of them. On Friday, I went to my mom's house in Owensboro. I told Ray I needed space. I didn't say how long. A week later, Barb posted a photo on Facebook with a big bouquet of flowers and a caption that said, Thanks to my son for making me feel special on Mother's Day. I know some people forget what the word mother really means. 50 likes. A dozen comments. One from Colleen. That's right, Mama. Not everyone earns the title. I took a screenshot. Then I started talking to a lawyer. I didn't respond to the post. I didn't comment, didn't like, didn't even mention it to Ray. I let it sit there like a trap. I wanted to see how far they'd go. Turns out much farther than I thought. The next week, I met with a lawyer named Jenna. She was sharp, no nonsense, and didn't feed me empty comfort. I told her everything. How I left, what Ray said, what his mom said, how they treated me before and after the baby. She listened, took notes, and said, You're not filing for divorce today, but we're going to be ready if that's where you're headed. I nodded. I wasn't ready to say the word divorce yet, but I was damn close. Ivy adjusted fast to being at my mom's. She smiled more, slept better. I think she felt safer.
I know I did.
Then, mid-June, something happened that flipped everything upside down. I went to the pediatrician for Ivy's checkup. New town, new doctor. I gave them our insurance info. The receptionist looked confused. This policy was just changed. You're not listed as a dependent anymore. What? She showed me the screen. Ray had removed me from the policy. I stood there in that office holding my baby, shaking with rage. I didn't call him. I drove back to my mom's house and called Jenna. She was quiet for a second after I told her, then she said, "He's trying to force your hand.
Good.
Let's give him what he wants." She filed the first motion that afternoon. Ray found out 2 days later. He called me 5 times, no answer. Then he sent a text. "Wow. So, we're doing this?" Just like that. I replied, "The first time since I left. You removed me from insurance. You made your choice." He tried to backtrack. Claimed it was a billing mistake. That he didn't mean to. But I already had the paperwork from his employer. It was intentional. That same day, I got a package in the mail. No return address, but I knew who it was from. Inside was a mother mug and a plain card. No writing. Just my name on the front. Barb's handwriting. She wanted to play games now.
Fine.
2 days later, I posted something on Facebook. It was a photo of Ivy on my lap, both of us smiling, with the caption, "Being a mom isn't a title you're handed. It's something you prove every single day." No names. No drama. Just enough for them to know I saw what they did, and I wasn't hiding. Barb unfriended me. Ray's sister posted a long, fake cheerful status about how some women destroy families and call it growth. Then Ray made his move. He filed for temporary custody. He said I withheld access to his daughter and that my leaving was emotionally unstable behavior. His lawyer tried to paint me as impulsive, bitter, overreacting. They even submitted screenshots of my Facebook post, saying I was turning Ivy against her father. Jenna laughed when she saw it. "This is weak," she said, "but we're going to hit back hard." And we did. We filed every message, every voicemail, the insurance proof, even the comment from Colleen about not everyone earning the title. Jenna called it a pattern of undermining maternal legitimacy. The judge granted shared custody for now, but made it clear he didn't like the insurance stunt. Ray wasn't expecting me to fight back. He thought I'd come crawling home. Instead, I got stronger. After the custody hearing, things got quiet. Not peaceful, just quiet. Like when the air goes still right before a tornado. I could feel something coming. Ray stopped texting for a while. I think his lawyer told him to. He'd pick Ivy up every other weekend, on the act polite at drop-offs, fake smiles for her. He brought her back with clean clothes, full bottles, a stiff hug, and no eye contact. But kids are smart. Even at 8 months, Ivy could tell something was off. She'd get fussy the night before she had to go to him. She'd cling to me when she came back. She started waking up crying again, after weeks of sleeping fine. One Sunday night after I got her back, she wouldn't stop sobbing. Her diaper was dry, belly full. Nothing seemed wrong until I lifted her shirt. She had a rash, red raw under her arms and across her belly. I snapped a photo. I took her to urgent care the next morning.
Heat rash, they said.
Probably from a synthetic onesie or being in a hot car too long. I called Ray. He didn't pick up. I texted the photo and wrote, "This happened on your watch. What happened?" No reply for 6 hours. Then just, "Not my fault. She was fine when I dropped her off."
He lied.
She came back whining, itching. My mom had seen it too. Jenna told me to keep a log. Photos.
Times. Dates.
She said, "It's not enough for full custody yet, but if there's a pattern, it'll matter." Then the next twist came, and I wasn't ready. Late July, I was at the grocery store when a woman I barely knew from Ray's church came up to me. Her name was Kendra. We'd spoken maybe 3 times in 5 years. She looked uncomfortable. "Hey, I didn't know how to reach you, but I thought you should know. Barb's been saying stuff." "What kind of stuff?"
She leaned in.
"She told the ladies group you were using Ivy to punish Ray. That you walked out because you couldn't handle motherhood. She said you've been struggling mentally since the birth." I just stood there. Kendra added, "She also said you threatened to run away with the baby. She's telling people you're unstable." I thanked her and left the cart in the middle of the aisle. That night, I lost it. I called Ray and said, "You let your mom say I'm unstable?" That I threatened to take Ivy? Are you serious? He didn't deny it. He just said, people are going to think what they think. I can't control what my mom says. Yes, you can, I snapped. You just don't want to.
He sighed.
Tessa, stop acting like this is some war. I laughed, cold and bitter. It is now. The next morning, I filed a motion to block Barb from seeing Ivy. Jenna said it was a long shot, but worth it. Barb responded by trying to file for grandparent rights. In Kentucky, it's not easy to win that unless there's a deep bond. But Barb was bold. She submitted photos, half of which I took, trying to make it look like she'd raised Ivy. She even listed her house as Ivy's second home. That was a mistake. I had texts from Barb saying she wasn't ready to be a grandma when I was pregnant. I had her voicemail from Mother's Day. I had photos showing she hadn't visited Ivy more than 4 times since the birth. We submitted it all. Barb didn't get her visitation. The judge dismissed it before the hearing. But the damage was done. Ray was furious. He came to drop off with a cold face and said, "Congrats. You got what you wanted. You turned my whole family against you." "No," I said, staring him dead in the eye. "They did that all by themselves." That was the first time I saw something behind his eyes crack. The mask started to slip.